Hey friends, Brandy here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about my shamanic healing sessions that I am now offering to you, to the public. This is part 2 of a 4-part series where we're talking about the current services with Falcon Healing Arts. So we will be discussing what shamanism is, my background in it, and what I am offering in these healing sessions and how you can benefit. So first of all, this is, I would say, one of the most powerful healing modalities that I offer. And it has been a strong part of my personal spiritual practice for several years. I was called to shamanism strongly a while ago, maybe 7 years ago or so. But now that I am here in the present with this experience and I'm looking back, there were signs really a long time ago. But this official calling happened again around 7 years ago. Many synchronicities led me to my teachers. I studied in core shamanism. This is Michael Harner's lineage of shamanism, and also took several workshops with Sandra Ingerman, who was also a student of his. But my initial exposure to shamanism was in the Celtic tradition, and at that time in my life I wasn't ready for this exposure. I still had a lot of negative programming, but at this point, as my practice is evolving, I'm feeling that I am more and more called to that style and tradition. So I am weaving together all of what I have learned in these sessions, and again we'll be talking about the details of that here at the end. But for those of you who don't know about shamanism, it is very intriguing that this has been practiced around the world, so all over the world, in indigenous cultures for over thousands of years. And so, of course, there are differences between all the cultures, but the similarities between all of them is pretty amazing. So it is this belief system and a set of practices where we work with the soul in other realities. So we consider this here in the present, our ordinary reality, and we work with the soul in these non-ordinary realities. We do the spiritual work there, and that helps us here not only in the present, but helps us heal the past and the future as well. So it is more of an out-of-the-box healing practice. It is quite expansive for your spiritual growth. And what is in common between all of these traditions is the strong reverence shamanic practitioners have for nature. That we are very immersed in nature. We listen to the cues of nature, the signs in nature to help guide our practice. And the second similarity between all of these traditions is that the shamanic practitioner is central in the community. So the community in the past would look to the shaman as the guide, as the leader, one who has not only all the answers that may not be apparent to others, but also has the tools to heal when there is an imbalance with individuals and in the community. And so obviously that has changed quite a lot, that our communities are not as strong these days. Our spirituality and interest in it is not as strong these days. However, there is a revival of shamanism. Many wellness practitioners like me, healing practitioners, but also psychotherapists, other practitioners who help with mind-body experiences are looking to shamanic practices to help heal these soul wounds and make our communities more cohesive again. Now, the shamanic journey is also what is central to shamanism with all of these cultures and with the practices passed down to modern practitioners. And we typically use percussion to bring us into these altered states, which then help the soul roam in order to do the healing work in the non-ordinary realities. So we might use a rattle, or actually I'll show you the rattle that I just made. This is called a silver branch in the Celtic tradition. And I made it with some feathers I found around my home and also a smoky quartz gem there. But typically we use a drum. So this brings the mind into a trance state, and it helps it roam into these journeys where we connect with our power animals, ascended masters, ancestors, and other spiritual allies that can provide guidance, healing wisdom, and even give us a little glimpse into the future. And the way that we do these journeys adds in protection because we're moving through these portals that lead us to these very distinct places. And again, even the way that these worlds are described with all of the cultures are amazingly similar. So I won't get into the details about that, what you might see or experience in these other realities, but just know that the way that we do it in this shamanic style adds in protection. So there's more reassurance that we will be connecting with benevolent spirits, and of course that is emphasized by our intention as well. So you're probably wondering by now what these healing sessions entail, and so it's different working with other practitioners, but the sessions that I'm currently doing are 90 minutes. These are done virtually because just like the energy work that I talked about in last week's video, there are no boundaries in the spirit world and with time and space. So we can be meeting virtually and it has no impact on the depth of healing that you can experience. So when we meet over video on Zoom, we'll be talking about the issues that you want to resolve. I will be doing my own journey to provide guidance and direction for where we need to go in the sessions. If you are interested in journeying, I could teach you how to do it, and we could be doing those journeys side by side, getting probably different information that we can bring back together and interpret afterwards. So those journeys are then going to inform us as to the healing work that would be best for you. So here's just a few of the healing practices that we can bring into the session. We can do a power animal retrieval, so connecting you with your spirit animal, your power animal, which does what it is called. It is giving you power. It's giving you reassurance. You have this guide with you, either working through your current situation, or this can be a lifetime companion. And we can do the same, connecting you to other spiritual guides and allies. For mental emotional imbalances, it might be necessary to do a soul retrieval. And this is retrieving and stitching back together aspects of yourself that may have been lost in the past. So this is doing more inner child work, more work with past traumas, because when we do experience something traumatic, quite often as a coping mechanism, we do lose an aspect of ourselves. So this journey, this process brings that aspect back into your life, and then afterwards we talk about how to keep that connection strong. Another thing we can do as part of the healing aspect of the session is to transmute negative beliefs, emotions, or experiences. So this goes beyond just brain rewiring and bringing in positive thoughts and affirmations. This is actually changing your energy. So in your body, we are bringing in more light, more positivity, and actually changing your vibration and frequency. So transmitting any of the darkness into light. We can be bringing in some transition ceremonies through healing journeys, so helping you in certain phases of your life, pregnancy, menopause, working with a chronic illness, and even preparing for death. So this is something that I am especially interested in. I have actually helped loved ones transition, and we call this psychopomp work in shamanism. And again, something I'm really attracted to. And I feel that having this knowledge and ability to work in the other worlds helps people in general deal with their mortality. So it is extremely comforting to do these journeys as a preparation for transitioning into another phase of being. And then we also may bring in some Qigong energy healing and light work, just like we talked about in last week's video. And then after the healing sessions, we'll talk and process more, answer any questions that you have, and talk about how you can continue the healing at home. So these can just be single sessions, but those who feel like they need more work, we can do a series of healing sessions, and I do offer discounted packages for people who do want to commit to that. So shamanic healing practices are suitable for anyone who wants to have a stronger connection to themselves, to others, and who want to build more power in their lives and also need hope and reassurance. So hopefully you can see why I consider this to be the most powerful healing practice that I offer. And if you have any questions about these sessions or about shamanism in general, go ahead and ask them in the comments. And if you want more information about how you can work with me, check the description below. And you can check out these other videos to support you in your wellness journey. Take care, friends.